Okay, so I put the tent aside and took out all the contents in my food bag. So this is everything that I would have as far as crew gear. And what I had packed in that blue bag is a cook kit. So this is my pot set, a stove, and a stove kit. It's actually a kit in here. A repair kit, the cleanup kit, to cleaning up your dishes and starting fires. I've got a small gas lantern. It's like this, just in an old sleeping pad that I've wrapped it up in to protect it. And then my cat hole kit, which you saw earlier. I've got a cutting board, small cutting board, although you can use a paddle, no problem. I've got a couple fillet knives. I'll generally bring one, but I've got a larger one and a smaller one depending on what kind of fish I'll be catching. And then I have a little rope bag here, or cordage bag. Real quickly, this is 10 strands of 10 lengths of cordage. I see a lot of times people packing cord, and it's helpful, it's handy, but it's never handy when it's all in a 100-foot length. It's just becomes hard to manage. People try to sell you spool tools and all sorts of stuff. But I find if you have it cut in 10 lengths, 10-foot lengths, you can use it for all sorts of camp gadgets. You can use that length as guide lines on a tent. You can tie everything back together to make a clothesline. So there's a lot more usefulness without having to cut your line all the time. So you can get more use out of that. And then you know how long each strand is. It's all 10 feet, and there's 10 of them. This is my kitchen sink. Yes, I bring everything in the kitchen sink. This is a fantastic tool or piece of gear to have with you, and basically it's just collapsible. This one is 10 liters, and the reason why it is so awesome is there's so many functions that you can do with this wash bin. So certainly you can wash your dishes with, which is fantastic. I like to do that with a big, sometimes people bring a larger pot to do that with, to boil large amounts of water, and then you can clean your dishes right there. What I do is I can use this for cleaning my dishes. I can also use this to clean my clothing, so you can stay clean on the trail. Yes, it's possible to stay clean on the trail. It's a great indicator of someone's camping experience, in my opinion. But then, so you can clean your clothes, you can clean your dishes, you can clean yourself, you can take a bath with this, and then you can also use it as a kind of a pre-filter for your water filter. So if you're going to filter some water from a lake or a stream, instead of dipping the end of the filter right into the sediment, you can collect the water, let the sediment settle, then pump from there without worrying about clogging your filter. So it does make a big difference, extending the life of that filter. And then the other piece of kind of multiple purpose gear is a stuff sack. So what I do with this is I line it with a plastic bag, and then I can put all my garbage in there. So the nylon protects the bag from ripping, and the plastic, of course, keeps the contents and the smell down. Then I put this on the outside of my pack, generally under the flap. And so when I'm paddling and I see other people's garbage, I can very easily pick that garbage up and put it in my garbage bag. I know a lot of times people see garbage and they think, oh, that'd be great, I wish I could pick that up, but I don't want garbage in my pack. But having that garbage bag ready to rock and roll is great. The other thing is, if I'm in a pristine area where I need, there's no fire grate, then what I do is I can turn this bag inside out, fill it with mineral soil, bring it over to where I want to have my fire, dump it out, have the fire, and then the next day clean it all up, ashes and soil, clean that up, make sure there's no trace left, dump this somewhere else, or back to where it was at rather, and there you go. So many uses for that. And then lastly, as far as utensils go, I like to, this is luxury camping again, so I bring mugs or cups. I bring sometimes I like to bring my insulated double wall, a pancake flipper or turner, and a large spoon, a pair of tongs, And then I bring utensils, enough for everybody. So a fork, a tablespoon, and then a knife. And I find that's enough for most people. And then in addition to that, I like to bring an extra fork for cooking. And I'd like to bring a teaspoon also for cooking. So tablespoon and teaspoon, good for measuring out ingredients, but also everyone can share a teaspoon if they're just using it to stir. So it kind of cuts down on extra utensils. And then the other thing too is if depending on people's comfort level or whatever, they might not want to bring, they might use their own personal knife for eating, but at least one plastic knife is great for getting into peanut butter. Again, for sharing, easy to clean. One knife is dirty instead of everyone's knife is dirty if you don't need it for that meal, whatever. So it's nice just to have a plastic knife. Now, as far as silverware goes, I have a bowls or your bowls, plates, and cups. Sometimes I go with plastic. I have some larger plastic ones, and I like those. The problem with the plates I find is that they crack a lot faster than the bowls and the cups. So I go with aluminum plates for that reason. Also, the nice thing about having an aluminum plate, and I would suggest having at least one, is that you can put this on the fire itself or on the grate, and that'll help keep your food warm while you're making another meal or warming up water, whatever. So you can always kind of keep that. So having at least a metal plate's handy in that regard. So that's pretty much all of my gear. I'm going to, in the next video, break it down some of the specific kits.